Well, what's up, my friends? Hello, hello, hello. I tell you what, better late than ever. Sorry for this afternoon. Normally we do our prophetic roundtables at 12:30, but I was so wrapped up in my message for Sunday that I looked up and I was like, "Oh my word, I missed the time with you guys." So I said that we could still do it, and so, but I want to make sure we jump on. So some of you may have plans already kind of missed the window of the prophetic roundtables, but jump on real quick, and I hope you all are doing well. And give you a second for folks to jump in the room real quick. In the prophetic roundtable, hello, 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 hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. You know how to do it when we do the prophetic roundtables. Tell me when you're tuning in from. Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome. I told you we're going to do the prophetic roundtables at 5:15. Hello, Deborah. Hello. Is that my friend Shauna? Hello, Shauna. Hopefully you're on here. So good to see you. And bless you so much, guys. Sorry for this afternoon. Man, we have Shauna. Hello, Shauna. So good to see you. Sorry, guys, that we missed this afternoon. The prophetic roundtables. Literally, I was working on a message for the Sunday. I have an ordination service to do, and I was working on the message. Is very intent in that, really focused on that, and looked up and looked. It was like 12:30 already. So sorry about that. Sorry about that. But we're here in the prophetic roundtable. So good to see every single one of you. I pray that you are blessed. Do me a favor, go tag somebody, go tag them on Facebook, Instagram, go tag them on all the other places. And man, we want to be a blessing to some folks today. So better late than never. I'm here, and man, just be really good. A couple things I want just announce, like we do every roundtable, is that I just want to share with you. If you have not known that we are doing our City Awakening Conference, October 19th to the 21st, it is going to be fire. I'm telling you, this year's theme we're focusing on is a revival is now. So I want you to go be in the room for for City Awakening Revival and Now conference is going to be amazing. October 19th to the 21st. It is going to be fire. So go get in the room, and then on top of that, you do not want to miss the opportunity to experience the goodness of God in October. So do me a favor. Once you be in the room, big time. The second thing that I want to announce, maybe you're on our email list. We sent out a flyer, just inviting people. We're looking for 3 coachable people to test out our coaching module, our Identity Works coaching program. And it's not for everybody, but I'm telling you, if you want to learn how to be an identity coach, be under and grow through that, I'll tell you, you don't want to miss that. So email me, text me, let me know if you want more information. There is a cost attached to that, but I've already had one inquiry, and so we may have 2 slots of it. I'm only not taking everybody, literally, I'm not taking everybody. This is a pilot program that we're trying out to get some coaches. But we're just going to look at it and really see who really wants to do that. So it's gonna be a cost, and we want to help you be a coach to help others to be walk in their identity. So, but if you really want to do that, you're really passionate about coaching people, and you have a passion about life coaching, and want to be Identity Works coach, we're doing a certification program. I'm probably just going to do 3. We'll run with those 3 for quite some time. Just don't know how it's all going to work out. Just following the lead of the Holy Spirit. So if you want more information, please private message me, or you can text this number. My office number is 971-438-8751. Let me say it again, 971-438-438. Let me say it again, 971-438-8751. If you want to know more about and want to be possibly interviewed for the Identity Works coaching certification. So we will interview you. We're just not going to throw anybody in there. So promise you on that. So just let me know if you want to do that. And then the second thing is we are really, really, really excited about all that God is doing. So if you got in our on our mailing list, our team is putting those things together. We have a method to our madness, and really do have a method to our madness. I just don't do things just to do them. I do a lot of things to test things out, and those things have constantly been prayed about and hearing the voice of God. And when's the great time to release in that? So just know those things are there. The other thing is that our identity, man, you have no idea. Our identity program is fully up and running. Monday, our Facebook ads and all that stuff goes out. So all the way up until I got to see you right now, I've been dealing with that all day, along with my message for this big ordination service that I'm doing with one of our churches that we oversee, as an overseer. So it has been a busy day. So if I haven't got back to any of text messages and things like that, when I'm in my sermon prep mode, I shut everything down. Don't respond to text messages or anything because I need to stay focused on that. So that's why we missed today, our roundtable. So, but I want to just there was a thought in my devotion this morning, just kind of praying through it and looking at my devotion. It's in Luke chapter 22, verses. Let me look at this real quick. Luke chapter 22, verses 24. And I love this. It says the gospel. Let me read this. It says in verse 24, a dispute also arose amongst them as they watched. Excuse me. A dispute also arose amongst them as to which of them were considered to be the greatest. Jesus said to them, the king of the Gentiles lord over them, and these who exercise authority over them call themselves beneficiaries. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who is at the table, or the one who serves? Is it not the one who is at the table? But I am among you as one who serves. Wow, so good. You are these who have stood by me in my trials, okay? And I confer on you a kingdom, just as my Father confers on me, so that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit at the thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Simeon, Satan has asked to sift you all as wheat. I want to say it again. Satan has desired to sift you as wheat. Wow, so good. Satan desires to sift you as wheat. Here's a closing verse. Look at this verse. But I have prayed for you, Simeon, that your faith may not fail. When you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. I love that. What a great passage. What a great passage. What is this really saying? I love this. It has been said, I'm going to read this, a little bit of this so you can kind of get the gist of this. It has been said that unusual spiritual warfare in the Christian life is often a sign of unusual favor. We said again, it is said that unusual spiritual warfare in the Christian life is often a sign of unusual favor. It is the anointing, God's empowering presence on a believer, that draws the attention of the enemy, as it is the anointing oil that attracts all the flies. Let me say it again. The anointing oil has the ability to attract all the flies. See, if a fly will come in your face, many people will do like this and try to swat that fly away. God is giving you an authority to swat some flies away. Come on, somebody, talk with me. Okay? So this is because where we are most vulnerable is where we place the most value. For some, it is your business or for finances that may dip. For others, your integrity, your representation will be questioned. It can be in important relationships that may come under strain. In verse 31 through 32, when we look at this passage, Jesus tells Peter that Satan has asked to sift him as wheat. Now, let me say there, Satan is asking God to sift you. See, Satan cannot sift you if he does not have permission. My God, talk to me, somebody. Satan cannot sift something if they don't have permission. Have permission. So look what it says. It's in the verse. It's in the text. He says, Jesus says to Peter that Satan has asked to sift you as wheat, but then reassure Peter that he was praying for him. See, God says, Jesus comes and is right there with Peter, and Satan says, I want to sift him. But Jesus says to Peter, I am praying for you. I want to reassure you, I'm praying for you. Who am I talking to? Whether whatever test you're walking through right now, where you feel like you've been sifted as wheat, you feel like you've been in the storm, you feel like you've been pressured down, been in the crock pressure, Jesus is praying for you. Jesus is standing there for you. Jesus is in intercession for you. Do you understand that mean? That means he's in deep intercession. That means he's standing in the gap between heaven and hell, and he's interceding for you so that you would understand and rest assured that you're not alone. Come on, somebody, talk to me. That's a good word this afternoon. He is saying, I am standing in the gap for you, and don't you be afraid, because I am with you. Even though the enemy has asked to sift you, to take you out, to make you feel like you're not enough. Look what he goes on and says, but then he reassures Peter that he was praying for him and that his faith may not fail. See, God is saying, I'm praying that your faith does not buckle. I'm praying that your faith does not. I don't care what is taking place right now. God is saying, do not allow your faith to buckle. Does that make sense for you? In other words, the Lord did not send it, but he didn't stop it. Let me say it again. In other words, the Lord did not send it, but he didn't stop it. He permitted the testing. Whatever the source, the testing will place pressure on you, because that causes you, here it is, honestly, to reassess where you find your confidence, your stability, your sense of security. Where it's like God saying, I'm sending, you're in the testing, but where are you going to find your confidence? Here's what I'm going to give you. Here's what I'm going to share with you tonight. Is that where are you finding your confidence right now? Where are you relying your confidence? Are you relying in the testing? Are you relying your assurance and confidence in the one that made you, that says, do not buckle under pressure. Do not give up. Do not fret. Do not fear. I am with you. Okay. I'm just throwing this a couple of nuggets out here. So he says, do not be secure. Do not fear. Do not stop. Then he goes on to say, the pressure is intended to purify you. Point number one is the pressure is intended to purify you. The sifting is for our sanctification. Sifting is for our sanctification. When everything has been shaken, we can still remain steadfast and stand firm, but only if we are building on a foundation that is indestructible and irremovable and eternal. How is your foundation? When is the last time you checked your foundation to see if there's any holes in your foundation, if there's any cracks in your foundation, if there's any situations that has arisen within your foundation? Come on, Pastor, talk to me this evening. While temptation may never come from God, sometimes he does permit it to test this authenticity or your authentic authority and genuineness of your faith. With temptation, the source is always the enemy, and his purpose is to have you fail and then bring you to your knees, to bring you into condemnation, to bring you into shame, to bring you to guilt, to bring you into fighting and warring and conflict and destruction. That is his design. With testing, the source of God is, the source is God. In the testing, our source is not other people. It's not our escape route. Our source is God. Our source is God. And the purpose is to have you pass. The purpose is to have the pass. Let me wrap this up. Let me give you this last little point. Whenever you face a test in your life, let it teach you something. Let it teach you something. Let it go back and ask God, what are you trying to teach me right now? What is it that you're trying for me to know? What is it that you're trying for me? What are you trying to teach me? What do you want me to learn? That's the testing. That's what God has said. He says, I'm testing you to purify you. I'm testing you to purify you. How many, do you understand? How many does that resonate with you this evening, excuse me? Is that like your testing is to refine you? It's like, man, you've got to understand, like, right where you are, it's not to break you. Many times we feel things are breaking us, but it's not breaking us. It is to say, I'm testing you so that you can understand that you have greater purpose. I was telling somebody that today, I was in a meeting today with a client. I said, it's like, we've got to be so intentional about who we really are. Like, what are you doing to really grow you? See, the enemy doesn't mess us. When you really grow you, you put tools in your box and you're able to pull the tools out to fight the enemy. Come on, somebody. To fight the enemy, to understand. It's like, keep your head in the game. Keep your head in the game. Keep your thoughts in the game. Keep yourself in the game. Keep your mind in the game. Keep your spirit in the game. Keep everything in the game so that you do not face trials. Hallelujah. How many believe that this evening? How many believe that this evening? How many believe that God has a greater purpose in you like never before? He has a greater purpose in you than you ever know it. He wants to bring you into a phenomenal season, but he tests you so that that testing is preparing you for the season that you're stepping into. Amen. How many understand what I'm talking about this evening? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple questions. I don't get to often do this, and I know that this is a little bit like kind of like wow, like we can, so I know we kind of just always prophesy and move, and so I'm going to take some questions and I'll read the chat. So, what is some things that you are? Let me throw this question out. What is not working for you right now in your spiritual walk? What is not working for you right now? What do you feel? And let's prophesy into that. So let's see. Come on, talk to me. What do you feel is not working right now? Where you feel like the same thing you've been trying, different measure, different things. What's not working for you right now? Oh, you're so quiet. Okay, someone says, let me see here. Spread too thin. Not sure about my community church. About my community church. Okay, spread too thin. Okay, spread too thin. So when you're spread too thin, you have to ask God, what do you want me to know about me being spread too thin and why I feel like I'm spread too thin? And then ask him, has your spread too thin? What are some things that you need to give up? What are some things that you're doing that's causing you to feel like you're spread too thin? It's going back into the reality check that, wait a minute, like we have some things on our plate that he's not even asked us to do. Oh, we have some things on our plate that he's saying, why are you hanging on to this where this is not giving you return on your investment? So, and then not sure about your community church. That's something that you got to go back and pray, Kim, and say, okay, God, I guess you have to have I will know a little bit more deeper. What makes you feel like not sure about your community church? I need to have a little clarity of that. Because it could be a variety of things that is taking place right there. So that's good. Okay. So hopefully I hope you understand that. Let's see. It says, I feel like there has been distance between me and God. Who said that? Distance and is not hesitant. Wow. Who said that it feels like there's been distance between me and God? I just see Facebook user. The person that feels like there's been distance between you and God. I love that. let me pull this out. Okay. Let me see. Let me pull this up real quick. I feel like there's been distance between me and God. And then hearing God's voice. Who said I want to hear God's voice? Let me pull this up. Distance between me and God. Okay. I think I have something for you for the person that said this. Who said distance between me and God? Who feels like there's distance between God? That person jump off. Okay. Maybe this is for somebody else. Okay. I love this. Where do we get this idea that God goes silent? Where do we get that idea that God goes silent? Okay. Does God quit speaking to us? That's the question. Does God quit speaking to us? Where do we get this idea that God is distant from us? Where do we get this thought process where we feel that God is so distant from us and that God stops talking? All that is produced under the scarcity model. It's produced under the scarcity model that with that scarcity, there was 400 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament of God speaking. David spoke about it in Psalms. The gap between people in the Old Testament. The enemy says that God's silence is even when the devil isn't silent. God's silent is even when the devil's not silent. So the idea that God is silent is actually not true. The question is that where are we slowing down or paying attention to the annunciations of where he's actually speaking? Are we slowing down to say, let me get with him and ask him the question? And then if I ask him the question, then I'm hearing what he's saying. He is always speaking. The idea is that we can, when does the enemy stop speaking? When do we feel distance between the enemy? And when do we feel close to God? That's the question. Because the enemy has Job, as I'm reminding him, Job chapter 1, God asked Job, where did you come from? He says, I've been going back and forth throughout the earth. David, does that make sense? It's the idea that God is never not close. He's always close. It's something in our heart and our mind that we make this ideal up in our mind that God is distant. And so he's actually not distant from us. He's actually with us. And he's actually for us. And he's actually begun to create with us. Do you understand the power of that? Opportunity all the time to hear God. We have the opportunity to hear God. I love this, and I say this quite a bit. I haven't said this in a while. The sun doesn't stop shining on the blind person just because he can't see. The sun doesn't stop. So what am I saying? He says, my sheep know my voice constantly. Constant. So there's a constant growing. So it's like this. All the time, dreams come forward as well as ideas and books. They move into the true self like a river shutting down in the false self. New ideas. You understand? God is always speaking, but have we asked have we even asked the enemy, when are you not speaking? The enemy is always right there. There's no distance. God's like, why do you feel distance? Who's telling you that I'm distant? That's where you got to go back. That's what God asked Adam. Who told you were naked? Who told you to hide? Who's telling you that he's distant? What makes you feel him distant? What idea? Where did you get that thought that makes him distant? Is it something that we magnify in our mind that's actually false? Does that make sense? Hope that answers your question. No, I went on a tangent there. So I feel like, let's see here. I feel like I'm working. And let me address real quick. Let me come back to that one. Does God change how he speaks to us during certain seasons? God is always changing how he speaks to us. but he never changes in most seasons. He's always speaking. The greatest thing that you must understand, look at Moses. And he didn't stop talking to Moses. He spoke to Moses at a burning bush. He spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. He spoke at a burning bush. That was one scene. That was one season. And then he spoke to God. God spoke to him at Mount Sinai on the mountain. That was another season that he was in. God, he's always speaking. Here's what we do. I say this all the time. We can hear the enemy's voice all day and don't even say, enemy, are you speaking over this time? No. We didn't want to ask the enemy those questions. But man, we will ask God these questions. God's not far. God's distant. I don't see him. And God's like, I'm actually right here. Have you become distant from me? 90% of the times, we become distant from God versus God becoming distant from us. We become distant from God because we make up in our mind. We make this scenario up in our mind that because I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, or I'm a failure or this, then all of a sudden, God's distant. God's like, I'm not distant. Actually, I'm right here in the middle, right smack dab in the middle with you. You've got to see Jesus in every situation. So my question to you, David, is, are you seeing Jesus in every situation? That's the question. Great question. Okay, let's see here. Someone says about the voice of God. Who said that? Voice of God, about the voice of God. I'm about to jump off here. I got to get ready for my Identity Works coaching. So let's see here. I feel like there's been some distance between me and God. Okay, I answered that one. Okay, let's see. Who said about the voice of God? Voice of God. God is always speaking. I kind of answered that already. Okay, let me go back to, let's see. I feel like I'm working and getting nowhere. Okay, like I'm stuck in a place, not moving forward. I feel stuck. Everything I do, I pray, but feel nothing. I can't hear God's voice. Wow. Okay. So really, I just kind of answered a lot of that, Miss Sherelle, Miss Manor, in what I just sent to you. When I feel stuck, I've got to go back to what makes me feel like I'm stuck. You got to go back to what's actually making me feel like I'm stuck. And where do I feel like I'm stuck? What do I believe about God? What do I believe about myself? And what do I believe about the world? So what do I believe about myself? What do I believe about God? What do I believe about the world? And actually, where do I find I'm stuck? When I'm saying I'm stuck means I'm powerless. And when powerless is there, then also lonely. The two of them working together makes me go deeper into separation, isolation. And everything that I'm doing, because I heard you say in your question, I'm doing. Are you doing things that God has asked you to do? Or are you doing things because you're trying to get unstuck and you don't know how to get unstuck? And then hearing the voice of God is literally saying, God, it's like, let me say it this way. What are the very things are you doing to add value to yourself, to get unstuck? And are you at a place in your life? Are you coachable, resourceful, and decisive? And are you? So those are some questions to ask yourself. And the other thing is God, what are the things that I'm doing that you have not asked me to do? And what are the things that you did ask me to do that I wasn't paying attention when you spoke to me? Does that make sense for you? So hopefully that spoke there in that for you. Awesome. Well, guys, you guys are amazing. Sorry that I have to cut it short tonight. I promise you we'll be back on next Thursday. Matter of fact, we have a special guest that will be with us at the Prophetic Roundtable. I'm not going to spoil it because I want you to hear her testimony, her story. But it's going to rock your world. I promise you it's going to bless your life like never before. And it's blessed my life this week. And so you'll definitely be blessed. I'm going to do an interview with her. And it's around the prophetic. goodness, what happened when she lived out the prophetic word. So you want to be in the room for that. You want to be in the space for that. So, hey, love you so much. God bless you. You're incredible. Be encouraged and know that, man, God's got some great things in store for you. And just be encouraged. Take care. God bless you.